Good afternoon, everyone. As part of the Great Reset Poverty Reduction and Growth Trust. Wait a second, that's linked to the special drawing rights, 700 million gold sales. Living standards are going to be redefined not in terms of poverty, but lifestyle standards. And now crops are being affected not only by one, but now two major excuses. The IMF can just jump right in. EU coming up with a word switch, a lexicon switch for how we view our diets. This can no longer be termed a vegetarian burger, and you'll see the impossible foods expanding because you're being retrained again. Red dot, green dot, mask, no mask. That's about your access to food in the compliance economy. And with the U.S. election just a few weeks away, I think you'd agree, whatever the outcome, things are going to be rough for a while. So if you're worried about your finances taking a hit, you should look at protecting your savings, especially your hard-earned retirement fund. The team at Noble Gold knows how to do this, and they've done it for thousands of other people before you. With every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover, Noble Gold is gifting a 10th ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin. Grab the phone and give Noble Gold a call now. 877-646-5347. And you'll also find the link in the description box below the video. And right off the International Monetary Fund's own sets of videos explaining what the reset is and how it's going to affect everybody on Earth, we're starting to now break down the information and showing you where the targeted financial incentives or resets are going to happen within the economy. So two out of this entire list that you see on the left there are whited out. Poverty Reduction and Growth Trust is where we'll focus on this one. India just joined it as well here on June 25th. And I thought that's real interesting. Now they're a member state of this. So it's going to include all of the largest governments on the planet. And when we're talking about reset of the economy, we're going right into the special drawing rights in addition to the central bank digital currencies. Now, how is this going to affect your food? Well, starting here in 2016, so we get the base of where it is beginning and is going to now in 2020. This Poverty Reduction Growth Trust is not new. It's been around for at least 5 years. And the initial link was 700 million special drawing rights. That's a basket of currencies. But most interesting, associated with gold sales. All you have to do is change that word to backed, and it certainly makes sense on a reset. Global scale for a new one world currency, bye-bye dollar, gold-backed SDRs inbound. And digging through the October 30th, 2020 SDR exchange rates, we have this full basket of major currencies that are then weighted within the basket to come out to a single currency unit comprised of these five here. And most interestingly, they're reevaluated every 5 years. And guess when the last reevaluation was? 2015. And coming up on November 1st, they're going to reevaluate it again and set the new peg for the next 5 years. Did you hear about that in the news? I sure didn't until I dug into the story. It's so interesting because another shift that's happening, the world's poverty is no longer going to be measured in dollar amount. Income will be thrown away for living standard is going to be the new measurement. Now, this encompasses everything that you know is your living standard: availability and access to food, hygiene, employment, and the full gamut. But this is going to shift. If you have too much, you're going to have to share with others. This is the whole plan. And now it's in writing that living standard will be the new benchmark, not money. Well, money will be revalued and shifted anyway. And then we see Indian central bank going right into digital payments. Central bank digital currencies. And they don't even have enough proof that foreign trade's good for poor, but they don't care anyway. See, it's not about a true reset because they care about people. It's about a reset to have more workers for the elite class. Your food's going to change because when I'm reading through, and I found so many interesting articles here focused on food, especially the one in the Supreme Court in India. They stated they cannot make the entire country turn vegetarian, but that was the plan. No more meat in India, cut off the meat exports from India, which shocked the FAO and the Asia Pacific trade bloc. which India then had to give assurances that they would not stop exporting meat. That Supreme Court case was literally to make the entire country vegetarian, no more meat production, sacred cows allowed, everything else had to go. This is a huge shift. This is what the United Nations wants. They want you to move over to factory-made meats, lab-grown meats, cricket protein powders. And it's not really about the well-being of the planet, as you see. It's just about bringing it into United Nations control with the special drawing rights, and anything we knew as fiat currencies, long gone. But they needed the excuse of debug. Climate wasn't good enough there for a while, so then they added and drip-fed in another major one here. And how are these two stacking up in the headlines as the reasons to move over to a new way of thinking for the Great Reset? So perfectly timed at the moment. This grand solar minimum inbound right now is going to rock food production. And by 2024, the world would have shifted anyway, just from what we learned in the past about how the economy shifts, population moves, and availability of food shrinks during grand solar minimums. It's almost as if a group of people knew the cycle was inbound, pushing these measures preemptively, and more taking advantage of a natural cycle and riding on top of it. And take notice of the emphasis on food now moving forward. Everything's about the food. Wherever you look in headlines, food insecurity, supply chains breaking down, and now the EU follows up with new words for non-vegetarian foods. So now they're starting to mess with the lexicon of what food even is. And that goes right back to the cricket proteins and all these other things that we've seen, that somehow they're trying to reverbiage the foods you eat. So case in point, anything that was vegetarian, quote unquote, could have no affiliation to the word we understand as something with the animal product in it. Veggie burger, vegan sausage. No, how dare you speak these words in the EU? And then the EU exports will go global. So now the rest of the world has to kowtow to what the EU's doing. Didn't we see that with the websites as well? Now you have to click that little box that says they can put cookies on your site. That was all started in the EU only, but the rest of the world adopted it. So here we go. 2.0. Burger is going to have to be replaced with the word disc. So imagine a veggie disc. Oh, that sounds so appetizing. And the tubes, vegan tubes. So even when you see such appetizing images as this, you're not going to even be able to call it a meat substitute. Oh, you use the word meat. There's no meat. So you see how this whole thing is going into now the food retraining. Green dot, red dot, required. Mask, no mask, required. Interesting, the retraining on such the simplest red or green dots. So easy. Now, preventing non-dairy produce from being labeled creamy or yogurt style is also forbidden. EU legislature claims it's the farmers that are pushing this legislation, but I haven't seen any large groups of farmers saying, you cannot call something yogurt style. It seems like it's an internal move because the European Court of Justice had already banned phrases such as soy milk, vegan cheese, because they overlapped into an animal-based product. So the new proposed amendment for changing how food is labeled in terms of how you can say it. If it's a plant-based, factory-grown, lab-grown, you're not going to be able to interchange the words milk-like, forbidden. They're absolutely changing your foods right now, and the words going along with it. The impossible foods are expanding. They're calling animal ag the most destructive technology on earth. So I think these are both being pushed by corporate media, overlapping on top of each other here. The lexicon change, and then also bring in all these new foods, while our regular traditional foods have less protein content, and factories struggle to keep up with production and fill our supermarkets. But I bet in the future, if steaks are off the shelf, there'll be an enormous amount of lab-grown meat there to take its place. What do you bet? Let's wait 2 years and come back and revisit that. That's why you might want to have a little bit of extra stored food around your house. You can do it yourself, spend the time, buy the containers. It's a great skill to know and share with the family. It's fun to get everybody together, canning it, packing it, vacuum sealing it. But if you don't want to go to that effort, My Patriot Supply, Mylar, sealed bags, shelf life 20 years, 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply. I think it's solid value. That's why I've teamed up with My Patriot Supply for the offering. Links in the description box below. It's a great way to support the channel. I thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next time.